BlackRock just adopted Ripple's stablecoin in public, and nobody understands the implications yet. Over the next 7 minutes, you'll see exactly what that move really means. First, we'll break down the mechanism behind the deal itself. Then we'll show you why this is the strongest proof yet that XRP is moving into the top tier of global finance. The same mechanism that can tokenize derivatives, global debt, real estate, and more. Most people just see the headline. They don't connect the dots. But this is the first domino that proves XRP is positioned to tokenize nearly all the money. And if you stay until the end, we'll talk through what this shift means for XRP's new price floor. A floor that just blew through the ceiling everyone thought was in place. So let's start with the mechanism itself. This is not speculation anymore. This is live in production. BlackRock runs a tokenized fund called BUIDL. That fund sits on-chain through a transfer agent called Securitize. What changed this month is simple but historic. BlackRock fund holders can now redeem their shares directly in RLUSD. RLUSD is Ripple's dollar stablecoin. It's built to live on XRP Ledger and on Ethereum. It works 24/7. No banking hours. No cutoff windows. That's the redemption rail. The pipe is already built. Why is that important? Because a redemption rail is not just a headline. It's plumbing. Plumbing lets size flow without friction. When BlackRock plugs a new rail into their fund stack, it means the rail cleared internal risk tests. They don't put trillion-dollar clients on toy systems. They only use rails that they plan to scale. That means RLUSD is not a lab test. It's production grade. And the institution that just touched it's the largest asset manager on Earth. Here is the next layer. RLUSD is the stable unit. XRP is the settlement token. They sit next to each other on XRP Ledger. That pairing is by design. Institutions park cash in RLUSD. They move value across corridors with XRP when they need speed and finality. RLUSD lowers the barrier to entry. XRP closes the loop. Once the rail is open, the flows that need true settlement will naturally move into XRP. That's why this integration is more than a gimmick. Now look at the implications. For years, people said Ripple had NDAs with BlackRock and other giants. The suspicion was strong, but there was no public proof. That changed the moment BUIDL redemptions into RLUSD went live. BlackRock doesn't test rails in a vacuum. When they use a rail, it's because they plan to lean on it. This is the signal that speculation is over. The domino is here. Most people still don't see it. They read the headline and think it's small. They don't understand the scale of tokenization. Every major institution is preparing to tokenize treasuries, debt, real estate, and eventually derivatives worth quadrillions. All of that requires a stable cash unit and a fast settlement unit. Ripple built both. RUSD for cash, XRP for settlement. BlackRock choosing RLUSD means they already chose XRP whether they announce it today or not. There's no other realistic option left. And that's the key. The Ethereum can't handle this level of settlement. It's too slow and too expensive. XLM is built for peer-to-peer payments, not institutional size. Other chains are either unproven or lack regulatory fit. XRP is the only asset with the track record, the design, and the institutional alignment to run this system. That's why this is not speculation anymore. It hasn't hit headlines yet. The flip hasn't switched in the public eye, but the rails are live, and the rails are sticky once they save time and cost. There's no going back. Now let us zoom out to the math. The total value of global assets that can be tokenized is beyond imagination. Tokenized treasuries and debt run into the hundreds of trillions. Derivatives push the total into the quadrillions. Real estate and other assets pile more on top. Even if XRP only served as the core settlement layer for a fraction of that, the numbers are massive. But here is the truth. At this stage, it's no longer about fractions. BlackRock using RUSD means XRP is the logical settlement token for the vast majority of these flows. It's built for that role. No other token even makes sense. So what does that mean for price? XRP sits at around $2.90 today. That number is meaningless against what's coming. When the rails scale to tokenized debt and derivatives, the floor moves into 5 figures. Not a dream. Not hype. Math. Take 1 quadrillion in notional flows. Spread it across 50 billion XRP units. That puts the value per unit in the tens of thousands. And that's before you add global debt and real estate. The ceiling is gone. The new floor is through the roof. This is why this story matters more than lawsuits or short-term cycles. This is why hedging with low targets makes no sense anymore. We're past the stage of asking if XRP might play a role. We're at the stage where BlackRock already touched Ripple's rails in public. That means the role is real. The only missing piece is the headlines. By the time they catch up, the price reset will already be underway. So if you hold XRP, your patience is about to pay in a way few assets ever have. And if you don't, you're watching the settlement layer for tokenized wealth lock itself in without you. This is the new base case. If you want these shifts decoded before they hit the mainstream, then subscribe now so you don't miss the next move. Think about how money markets evolved. At first, trades closed with phone calls and paper slips. Then settlement moved to digital, but still trapped inside banking hours. Now BlackRock just built a door that never shuts. Once a client uses that door one time, they'll not go back. That's how scale builds. Then it became the backbone for decades because no one else could match its reach. Now SWIFT itself is being replaced by rails that run on chain. When BlackRock validates one of those rails, the rest of the market follows. So let's be clear. This is not just about one fund or one redemption feature. It's about proving that Ripple's architecture can carry the heaviest weight in finance without breaking. It shows RLUSD is serious. If you're waiting for a press release with a headline that says BlackRock partners with Ripple, you may be waiting forever. These moves rarely get announced in plain language until they're already entrenched. By the time headlines come, adoption is years ahead. The smart money reads pipes, not press releases. The pipes already tell the story. The story is simple. XRP is the only token that can credibly settle tokenized wealth at this scale. The proof is live in the form of RLUSD redemptions. And the price implications are not small moves or even $100 targets. That's why saying it's speculation is no longer accurate. We hit the first public domino. It's falling. So when you think about XRP's role, imagine the base layer of internet protocols. Then the entire web ran on it and no one questioned it again. XRP is about to be that for tokenized value. Ubiquitous later. The supply is fixed. The demand is nearly infinite once assets move on chain. That's why this is the most important update of the year. That's why you need to see past the surface of the headline. BlackRock just showed the path. Ripple built the rail. And XRP is the token that carries the weight.